Hey, my name is Carrie Gilletto, and we are here to make a Heartfelt Creations project that I am excited to bring to you. I was a little late on getting everything ready to go this morning, so I'm sorry that I didn't have a picture posted. But so when we switch the camera, it really will be a reveal, right? Because y'all haven't seen this one. So, all right, I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are. Autumn is beautiful here in Texas. We don't get the trees changing, but we do get perfect weather. So we're enjoying the outdoors right now. So, all right, let's go ahead and switch our camera and take a look at what we're going to make. All right, so here's a Christmas card that I've been working on. And when I first started this project, I thought that I would use it on my personal channel. So I didn't, I used some of the uh, sentiments and things from much older sets. So a lot of it, I am showcasing things that are either still available or just recently added to the warehouse clearance. So a lot of the circle dies are still available, and if you haven't got these yet, I highly recommend picking them up before they're gone. And then we also have the basket, the wicker basket die that was just recently added to the warehouse clearance. So let me grab the products and we will go through. I've got quite a stack today. Look at that. So we are using the wicker basket, and we'll be stamping this one and the handle, and we're going to stamp that in the pebble gray. And then we also use the bow, and I stamped that out in the vibrant fuchsia. I'm also using the basket blooms, and this is the one with the two smaller ones. And I'm using the one that has the roses. Now, I suppose you could use either one, but I thought the leaves that are going to show around the edges had a little more of a Christmas feel to it in the roses, where this one, the greenery was a little more maybe springy looking to me, but really either one would work. And I stamped that out in a combination of I believe it's paradise teal. Let me look. The emerald green and the paradise teal. So it's a combination of those two colors. I'm also using the Christmas Poinsettia and Holly. This year, it seems like on my Christmas projects, this has been my favorite poinsettia. Last year, I was using the bigger ones, but this year, I've used this one quite a bit. So I stamped these out in the vibrant fuchsia. And the one that has 4, I stamped that twice. And then the medium size one, I stamped that once. And then I used just the smaller leaves and I stamped that twice. For our dies, my main die today is the rounded lattice window, and I'm using this piece that's shown on the top, and I die cut that twice out of white. Then for the rounded sunlit window die, the biggest one that comes out of there, I use that to make my circle base. And I'll show you in a moment the patterned paper that I use to die cut that. Then I'm using the Circle Basics large, and I'm also using the eyelet Circle Basics with the eyelet circle. I'm using the filigree border and accent, and this little piece right here, I cut that out 4 times out of white. I'm using the mold for my flowers, and I ran those through face down. And the very last thing that I'm using today is the 6x6 swing fold card white. So this is a product that I do want to encourage all of you to pick up before they are gone, especially if you have the circle dies, because these are fantastic to have on hand. So this one folds out like this. Let me go ahead and move my card. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go ahead, so it folds out like this. I'm going to cut this piece off so that it's just a one fold card. So now if you don't have the pre-cut bases, you could make this, but it would be a little tricky. You're more likely to end up with just a circle card. It would be kind of tricky to do that. And I did not figure it out in advance, so we're going to do it this way. Now, in the the Floral Basket Collection. I'm using this pretty striped piece right here. And then I'm also using this darker blue piece. So I'm making a Christmas card, but my color palette for today's project are the Vibrant Fuchsia and the Coastal Coral, the Emerald Green and the Paradise Teal, and the Pebble Beach. So this is my color palette for today's card. All right, so the striped paper, I cut that down to a 6x6 square, and we are going to put that right inside our card. Now, if your fold pushes this off, you might have to trim off just a sliver. And then I went around the edges in the Paradise Teal. You know what? If you're there with me, do say hello there in the chat. I forgot to refresh my screen. So I'll see if I'm, yeah, there we are. Oh, a whole bunch of you are saying hi. You're all so sweet. You've been there. I just forgot to refresh my screen. I get into crafting. I forget that step. Thank you so much, every one of you, for being here with me. Hello, Lucille and Marla and Sylvia and Lorna. It's great to see all of you. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down this backing piece. Now, this is a fairly simple card to make. It's really a lot of die cutting more than anything. And making your flowers and the die cutting, that's really the main part. Oh, Julie, hello. You said I'm new. Hello. Well, you found us just in time, Julie. And I don't know if you know yet, but Heartfelt Creation is getting ready to close their doors, not because they're not well loved, because they are well loved. And it's a very a loyal group that follows them. And they are just going a different way in life. And so they're going to be closing down here. So there is the reason I mentioned that there is a warehouse clearance where you can get some really good deals. If you're loving the heartfelt look and the heartfelt projects, do go there and stock up. Okay, so here is this darker blue piece, and that is the piece that I die cut using the largest one from that. What's the name of that one? The rounded sunlight window. That's where this one comes from. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and put that in place. So I think I told you last week about my closet cleaning craziness. I just emptied out all my closets, and I've been cleaning closets. And I tell you what, I have my house in such a disarray and mess everywhere I look that's why I'm a little slow getting everything done on time, is because I'm just trying to get my house put back together. I know I'll be glad when it's all finished, but I tell you what, my closets were stuffed full, so it's been a huge mess. Okay, so the two pieces that I cut like this, and I did the same one twice, I decided to put those up and down ways right here, so that once I add my basket, it kind of looks like a gate or a door back behind them. That's kind of what I would like, lattice work and a gate and a fence maybe, or something like, I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking. All right, so I'm just going to add the glue. And it is important when you put this on to try to get them perpendicular or straight with this edge or perpendicular to this edge, however you want to look at it. So it can be a little tricky. Does that look right? When I did it before, I got it a little crooked, and it really bothers me. So this time I'm going to be real careful. Okay, that looks pretty good. Oh, so you're going to throw out extra, I'm trying to go through things and throw things away and reorganize, and oh man, I did not realize how much just stuff that I have until I started pulling it out. We've already taken 2 loads to Goodwill and several things out to the trash can. It's just, and there's still so much. So, I'm going to have to go somewhere today and get more plastic containers. So there we go. So here we've created ourselves a nice base to hold our florals. All right. To make our other pieces, you're going to need a second white circle. And then this one, you're going to cut another white circle. Oh, Shauna, you too. I know it's supposed to be spring cleaning, right? But for some reason, for me, it hits me in the fall. I think my daughter getting engaged motivated a lot too. I know I'm going to be having a wedding next year. And I was just like, people come to stay with me. They couldn't even hang their like dresses and suits in the closet because they're so stuffed full. Okay, so this white one is a 3-inch circle. Then you're going to cut one of the eyelet circles in white also, and that one is a 3.5 eyelet. I can't remember which sets they come from because I don't keep mine in the sets, so that's why I measure them for you. And then out of some hot pink paper, and I believe this came from the set with the fish, but any hot pink paper would work. And it is a 3.25-inch circle. Okay. All right. So now that we have all these pieces ready to go, we're going to go ahead and set those aside, and we're going to work on our coloring. So I stamped out the poinsettias in the fuchsia color, in the vibrant fuchsia, and I am going to start with the coastal coral. And when I'm making this color of poinsettias, I really like adding in this coastal coral color in the center. And I'm just going to put a nice circle of that coastal coral right in the center, pulling it up the leaves, the petals, pulling it up the petals. All right, and I'm going to do that to all of my poinsettias. And now the vibrant fuchsia, I'm going to come back, and I'm not going to put it on there super heavy. I'm going to go over the whole thing, including over the top of that coastal coral. Okay, so just like that. All right, now when these are die cut, I'm going to come back with the vibrant fuchsia, and I'm going to flick the ends very heavily so that you have this look right here. Okay. All right, so that's fast and easy. Now the other thing I'm going to be doing are these two colors, the paradise teal and the emerald green. And it doesn't matter which one you start with. That's the wrong one. And I'm going to get some ink on my dauber, and I'm literally going to zigzag back and forth. And I'm going to do this on all of it. Now, when you color this image, you're really focusing on the leaves on the outside. And I'm doing this very random on purpose, okay? And I'm even random with how I'm adding the pressure. Like I'm purposely doing lighter and darker. Now I'm going to come back with the paradise teal. And I like to turn my paper. That way my zigzag is not exactly the same. And the same thing, I'm just going to get some, and I'm going to add some of that blue in there. So hopefully you can kind of see how that looks. I just love combining the paradise teal and the emerald green on my Christmas greenery. I think that's a really pretty Christmassy look. So I'm going to do the same thing over here on this one. Now, one thing I did on my original, and I don't know that it's really necessary, but I came back, I didn't add more ink to my dauber, but on the roses, I just added a little bit of the fuchsia, just in case you could see through and see any of my base piece. It turns out that my poinsettias completely covered it up, but just in case you add your poinsettias where maybe you can see down between them, you're not going to be able to tell it's a rose, but I wanted to just add some color down in there so it looks like layers. But like I said, it didn't end up being necessary. Okay, so once I did that, I just went ahead and die cut all of those. Now to make my florals, of course, I ran them through the mold face down. Did that come off? Oh, layered them up. And then I added some guilt trip prills. All right, so and you layer those like size with like size. So that is how I got these. And the leaves as well, I just die cut those. And if any of them look like they needed flicked on the end with one of my two colors, I just did that. But a lot of them, I didn't even do that. Okay, so now on this ribbon, I'm going to come in with the Vibrant Fuchsia. And on all these places where it gets a little narrow, I'm going to flick a little bit of ink on there. See how that does? I don't know if you can see it. It really adds a lot. And then right in the center, I'm going to flick some more ink on there. But that just really adds to the three-dimensional look. So hopefully you can kind of see that. I'm going to add just a little bit up in there. Okay. All right. Now, set those things aside. I'm going to go ahead and pull out my shaping mat. I'm going to turn it upside down, and basically I am just going to trace the little swirls. Oh my, in Australia, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Woo, good morning, Janet. You're a trooper. I'll try to be really interesting to make it worth getting up that early. I don't know the last time I saw 4 in the morning. It was probably because I couldn't sleep and I stayed up that late, not because I got up that early. All right, so I'm just tracing around each of the loops with my stylus. Once I'm done, I'm going to turn it over and just press right there in the center, kind of like you would do a butterfly. And that gives our bow a nice, pretty shape. It's very much like a butterfly. All right. So I think that is about all for that one. And now for this one, I am going to come around with some of my other colors, my two colors that I used. Whoops, that's not it. This one and this one. And I'm just going to flick the edges so that they are more the color of my other greenery. Did I use it? I mixed up my daubers. Do you ever do that? Oh, Sean, you like this technique? Now, when I stamped this piece, first I stamped it in the emerald green. Oh, I'm sorry. I mixed that up. First, I stamped it in the Paradise Teal. Then I went back and I just tapped my emerald green onto the stamp, and then I stamped it again so that even in the actual ink of the stamp, it's kind of mixed up. All right, that's not bad. I'll come back now with the emerald green and same thing, just kind of add some of that around there just to get the ones that are out on the edge, because that's what's going to be seen. Okay. All right, I think we're done with the inks. We'll set these aside. Oh, we're not completely done. I still have to do the pebble. Okay, now the same thing. I'm just going to turn this over, and just on these leaves that kind of stick out on the side, I'm going to add a little bit of shape to those, because I don't want to leave them looking totally flat, because they would, the ones that do show, they'd look kind of weird if they were perfectly flat next to my shaped leaves. So just kind of adding that in there. And then on the middle, I'm just going to press down in the middle here to kind of get those to flip up, some of them. Okay. So it kind of looks a little strange, but that's okay because only a little bit's going to show. Okay, now for my basket, I'm going to come back with the pebble, and you'll have to forgive me. I'm using this kind of dauber because for some reason I don't have a triangle dauber for my Pebble Beach. I'm going to have to get myself another package of daubers. So I didn't realize that until I went looking. All right, so I am just going to flick the edges. And right up here where there would be shadow, I'm going to add some shadow. And down in here where there would be shadow, just going to flick the edges and bring my basket to life here so that he doesn't look so flat. So I think I've told y'all before that on Fridays, my mother-in-law comes over and cooks lunch. And I tell you what, whatever they're making down there smells delicious. All right, so that's all I'm doing to that. I'm leaving my center untouched. And then for my handle, I'm just at the top. I'm going to add a little shadow and down here around the edges. And that's really it. I'm going to leave the center alone. And there we go. All right, so one thing I did when I created this card is I made my basket before I put it on the card. So one more thing, almost forgot. I'm going to add some shape to my basket real quick. And I'm just going to run my stylus all around and then just add some shape to it. All right. There we go. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to just add a couple little dollops of glue here on my handle and then add it to my basket in this direction. Now, sometimes I like to put my flowers on and put that handle down over the flowers as if the flowers are inside that way. But for this, think of the basket as turned the other direction. Hopefully that makes sense. And to add my florals, I'm just going to add my glue right here along the curve and on the handles, just about a third of the way up. And now I'm going to position my florals just right there on that glue. Okay. All right. So there we go. That's all ready to add our flowers. So for adding my flowers, I am going to go ahead and use my hot glue. And hopefully I have enough glue in there. Might have to add another stick. So what's everybody up to this weekend? It has been a busy week, but I'm looking forward to the weekend. A lot of people are, am I inspiring people to clean out closets? If you could see the mess in my house, you'd be like, no, just leave all that stuff in the closets. I don't want to have to deal with that mess. All right. Okay, so I started with my one. Remember, we made one of the medium flowers and the rest are all the small flowers. So I'm going to start with my one medium flower and I'm going to put it kind of right over here by the handle on that side up a little bit. I'm just going to add a little bit of that, and there we go. All right, now I'm going to kind of lay these out real quick to see how I'm going to do these. And put those together, and then this one will go right down here. So that's kind of my layout. So now I'm going to add in my, oh, that's right, Lorna. This weekend is your crafty fair, and you make cards to sell at the fair, don't you? I'm making a mini album for Sylvia. I can't. Oh, wow. Karen has an exciting weekend. Well, I hope that is just a wonderful thing for both of them. He's going to meet his sister for the first time, and he's 88 years old. I'm glad that he's getting to do that. All right, so now I'm just adding in some of my greenery. Well, it sounds like some of you are in your craft rooms and doing crafty things. I would love to be able to come to your craft fair, Lorna. I hope that you just sell a lot of your creations. Whoops, I got that on the table. I have seen what you've posted, and they're all so pretty. Okay. I'm going to glue my basket to the table because I'm reading instead of paying attention to what I'm doing. All right, so now I'll put this one in right over here. I want this one to be on top. There we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and tear some of my leaves. I always have intentions of maybe selling my cards or whatever, but um, I end up just giving them away to make space in my craft room because I have so many. So I did take them to a oh, one of the preschools here in town had a little Christmas fair, and a friend of mine had signed up to have a booth, and she's like, "I need more stuff in my booth. Can you bring some of your cards?" I was like, "Sure." So I did sell a few that year, but it's not something I normally do more because I don't take the time. And my mom and my sister mail most of my cards out. What product am I using? I'm sorry, Angie. What I'm doing right now, I started with the Floral Basket Collection, and I'm using the poinsettias. If when the video's over, if you want to go back and watch the beginning, I do go through all the products at the beginning of the video, and that way you can see the names of them and see the packages, and that'll probably be better than me trying to tell you just from my off my memory because my memory's not so good. The people that watch me regularly will tell you that Carrie is like the queen of misspeaking. Uh, I noticed on my last video, I was telling you the special, and I said November instead of October, and it was still October then. So, all right, so now I'm just feeding in my leaves, tucking under these, and I'm trying not to cover up all of the greenery from the base piece that we put down. And but at the same time, I want there to be plenty of poinsettia leaves. So we're just kind of feeding these in here. One more right down here. Oops. There we go. All right. I think that's looking pretty good. I like that. It looks nice and full. You can still see the different types of leaves coming out. You can see just a little bit of what I tapped the rose. You can see just a little bit down in there. So I'm glad that I did go ahead and do that step. Okay, so now that we have that completed, we are ready to put our actual card together. So I have in advance excuse me, stamped some Christmas. Excuse me, I'm gonna have to take a drink. I got choked up. There we go. Sorry about that. I have stamped some Christmas sentiments on my circles. So these are much older Christmas sentiments that have come out years ago from Heartfelt Creation. So if you don't have those, totally fine. You go through your Christmas sentiments and choose some that you like. But I put the bigger Christmas sentiment on the inside, and I positioned it kind of on the top half of my circle. And the way I'm going to place that is I'm going to turn it over, and yours will be the same size as this. Mine's a little bit smaller, but go ahead and use that other die. It's fine for it to be the exact same size, but the way that you get it in the right place is open your card and make sure your sentiment is positioned um, the right way that you want it, and then lay it right inside. And now you're just going to take this and close it very quickly. Go ahead and open it. And if you don't have that straight, you can kind of turn it. I had it pretty close to straight. There we go. All right. And then make sure, yeah. That's the good thing about wet glue. It gives you just a second there to, to do some repositioning if you need to. So there you go. That is the best way to make sure that your circle is in the right spot. All right, now for these three pieces, I'm going to add the pink one right here onto this eyelet piece. and then the one with my sentiment. And whatever sentiment you choose, you're going to want it to be about that size, and put it in that upper right hand corner close to the edge. All right, now I'm going to add foam on the back side of this piece. I'm just going to go ahead and grab a piece of foam. There we go. Now, when I position this, I'm going to raise it up so that the bottom of my edge is right about at the bottom of this. Okay. And you want to make sure that your blessings read straight. And now we can add our basket. Isn't that pretty? I love the basket. I love, the basket. A basket can have any florals in it. So I'm using this as Christmas, but the sets that have kind of this size of flower in it just look so pretty inside this basket. So I'm going to add some foam down here on the bottom and on the one edge. There we go. Whoops. You have to be careful. Yeah, it needs to be on the right-hand side, because the left-hand side of your basket comes off the circle. So if you put foam over here, you're going to stick it to the bottom. So that's just something to be mindful of when you're doing this. So kind of keep your foam over to that side. And then on this, I'm just going to add some glue because it's going to be up on here. So hopefully that all makes sense. I don't know. I have just another piece right over here. All right, I think that should do it. All right, so now just position your basket right where you want it. Okay, there we go. Isn't that pretty? Oh, you love the floral basket? Me too. I haven't used it yet as much as I want to, just because I've been using other sets. You just can't use them all at once. I try, but there you go. But I love the floral basket, and I love the idea. I'm so glad they made us a basket before they decided to close up, because this is just a perfect addition. And look how pretty, and it's a very simple card. All right, so I also, don't forget these pretty little corner pieces that I made. And I'm going to go ahead and add my bow. And I chose to put my bow right down here. You could put it other places, but I just kind of liked it right down here in the corner of my basket. I did this with hot glue before, and I'm just pressing on the glue and kind of curling up my bow there. Isn't that just fun? Oh, so pretty. I love the color palette. Okay, so now I'm just going to add these little decorative pieces. And this can be just a tad tedious to add all the glue to the back of these, so I'll try to do that quickly. And the way I do it is these two little points I position right in the corner where I want them. And the little feet either just touch the circle or slightly overlap it. And it may be that I got my circle a little off center this time, so it will look a little different than my original, because I see now that I knew that was important, and I just forgot when I was adding it. There we go. Now on these pieces, it's going to be further out. You see the distance here between here and the circle, and then over here. If I had gotten that more perfectly centered, then my I'll show you on my original, because it's okay either way, but I should have been more mindful when I was doing that. I was worried about getting the sentiment straight, and I totally forgot to pay attention to that. But the good thing about these is those little edges, you can kind of push them up or down to be where you want them. So I think I can kind of mask that that is off center. No problems, right? Always a solution. All right. Put that, and now I'm just going to press that up so that it is right up at the corner. All right, there we go. Nice little frame for our circle, and close that up, and look how pretty. I was very happy with the way this came out. Now, when I was making this, I didn't do this, but layering this with the silver and adding silver as another color in there, I think would be pretty. But I also just liked the pretty white. So I actually have not glittered this yet, but probably before I mail these out, I will add glitter, maybe tap it around the edges here, and finish those off with a little bit of sparkle for the holidays. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and switch my camera back. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today to make this pretty Christmas poinsettia basket card. I hope that you enjoyed it. And this month's special, I'm going to try to get it right. Okay. In November, if you spend $100, you get to choose a free paper pad. So that is very easy to do. Always remember there's new products being added to the warehouse clearance all this month. So uh, do check those out. And all right, I think that's all I have. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I look forward to crafting again with you very soon. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye bye.